Hey guys, and welcome back. So in today's video, I am going to be answering all of your hygiene questions, your feminine personal hygiene questions. I was answering questions that people ask me about, you know, my Honeypot experience, my Queen Bee experience, and wanting to know like updates, or they wanted like further clarification on how I cleared up my yeast infection that I had for months and months and months. And so just reading those questions, I realized that either I didn't make myself really clear, I was like clear as mud when I did the original video, because so many people were asking me the same questions, and I felt bad because you just can't get back to everyone in a timely manner. And when you have, you know, yeast infections or BV or whatever, and you are in discomfort, you need answers immediately. So I totally understand that. So I decided to make a video addressing all of your feminine hygiene questions and just let you guys know how I'm doing and update and everything else. And I'm going to be going into not just feminine hygiene, but things like hormonal issues that we tend to face and how I handle those hormonal issues when they kind of present themselves, you know, with sweat or, you know, body odor or anything like that. So I do have all of the questions here that I compiled from everyone who's asked me, and you know, I do appreciate you guys reaching out to me, and I do know that it's very hard to comment, you know, publicly on YouTube with your real name. So if you want to ask me any kind of questions about anything and you don't feel comfortable doing so, I will leave my Instagram and my Twitter information in the box below, and you guys can just go ahead and message me there. I am open all the time, and I'm open to answering your questions. So let's get started. Okay, so the first question I got is, have I gotten a yeast infection since, and when was the last time I got it? So I have not had a yeast infection since I cleared it up last year sometime. I'm really fuzzy on the dates right now, and I just encourage you guys to watch that because it does go into great detail about my journey with recurring yeast infections and how I got rid of them. So I have not had a yeast infection since, and thank goodness. Okay, another question that's going to tie into this question that I'm asked a lot is, how do I maintain my feminine hygiene so I can prevent yeast infections? So I'm not really sure how I got the yeast infection. I think it was from wearing like really tight jeans in 100-degree weather, which I don't do anymore. So in the Honeypot video, I did show you guys what I was doing and how I cured it. Now, I was using the Honeypot products, which is this right here. I was using this every single day, twice a day. Now, I only use this about twice a week and every time after sex. And I only apply this to the V region. I don't like use this as a regular body wash, but I'm gonna get into that later. But yeah, I do maintain with this. A lot of women maintain with like a boric acid suppository, vaginal suppository after their periods, which is something that I am actually looking into, and I will explain that later. But yeah, I still do use this absolutely for maintenance. And speaking of this, this is the normal foaming wash from the Honeypot company. I love this. This was very instrumental in helping me with my yeast infections. However, I had been getting some questions from people who thought that they were using it wrong because the pump issue. The pumps are they're just not great. I'm just gonna be honest with you. There's something wrong with these pumps. I'm not sure what, but I have noticed though that when you shake it up, each time you use it and then you use the pump, it definitely lengthens the life of the pump bottle, and it definitely makes the product come out more uniformly and easier actually. So I would just suggest that you just shake this up every single time you use it, and then at some point I will just take the rest that's in here and either just pour it into my hand. I will take off the bottle top, and then I would just pour it into my hand and use it that way because it's still soap, it's just not foamy. Or I will pour this into the next bottle and use it from there. But I do know that this is kind of frustrating, so if you have to just pour it into your hands and then use it, I would suggest that you do that as well. Okay, my next question is, have you ever had BV or UTI? Now, I've never had BV, which is bacterial vaginosis. For those of you who don't know, it's kind of like the sister infection to yeast infection. So you have yeast infection and you have bacterial vaginosis. I am actually suffering from a UTI right now. I have a very, very sensitive V. I really do. My hoo-ha is very sensitive. And so yeah, I did get a UTI that I'm currently treating. I have antibiotics for that. I do not know of any natural remedies to combat UTIs because, like I've said, I have always gotten UTIs. I think I got my first bladder infection when I was like 14 or something. So for me, I don't have time to deal with natural remedies. Some women can have UTIs and they'll have them for weeks and it doesn't really bother them. But for me, my UTIs go from 0 to 60 in a matter of hours. There have been times where I've woken up with a completely mild UTI. And then by noon, I'm peeing blood and I have to go to the urgent care or ER because it has progressed that fast. So I do prefer to stay away from natural treatments and I do just go straight for the antibiotics. Next question, do you take supplements? No, I don't take supplements. I mean, I take regular vitamins. I take omega-3 vitamins and vitamin D, CalMag, and then my hair vitamins and elderberry as well. But I don't take any kind of feminine supplements like, what is it called? Like the probiotics. I don't do that. I did, and I just didn't notice an appreciable difference. I was actually trying to use that a lot when I was suffering with my yeast infections, and they just didn't help. And I just thought it was a waste of money, so I just stopped using them. But the ones that I did use were made by Queen V, I believe. They were the Queen V vitamins. They didn't give me any kind of discomfort or anything. I just didn't think they were working, so I stopped taking them. Okay, so someone said, Honeypot is expensive and the foam doesn't lather well on my body. What should I use for my body? I have that same issue. I do not use Honeypot on my body. I would probably use this whole bottle if I tried. But no, I do not use the Honeypot on my body. I only use this on my badge. That's it. For body wash, I try to use body washes that have no scent and that are gentle. And most of the time they are feminine hygiene centered. I like to use the Target feminine body wash. It has no scent. I think it's in a pink bottle and it's like 3 something and it works really, really well. And the reason why I am very choosy about what kind of body wash I use is because the suds do run down and I don't want scented body washes in my vaginal region at all. And this is something that I stumbled on at Costco, and I actually got 2 boxes of these and I love them. And this is from the Honest Company, and it has very natural ingredients. It has mostly like essential oils. And yeah, this is what I use. This is the lavender scent, and it's very light and it is very gentle, and I would not mind cleaning my V region with this if I needed to. Have you ever tried boric acid? Yes, I have tried boric acid. I tried boric acid when I had my yeast infection. It did not work. However, I have heard very good things about boric acid, and I think that once I'm done with my UTI stuff, I'm going to start using the boric acid to kind of maintain my V, like, so maybe after sex or, you know, after my period. That's when most women use it as maintenance. It is very hard for my V personally to maintain the proper pH balance. I don't know why. Anything that goes in your V is going to disrupt the pH balance, whether it's soap or boric acid, or, you know, when you're having sex, lube, all of that is going to affect your pH balance. Boric acid is something that will put your vagina pH back into balance. It puts it back in an acidic state so that your vagina is pH balanced again. And that is why a lot of people use them after their periods or after sex. clearly I need to start using them more often in order to get my pH balance, you know, back to normal. This is during ovulating. My pH balance is off. You know, right after my period is off. Of course, when you have sex, it's off. So when I'm experiencing like hormonal upsurges, I definitely want to try boric acid to see if that will help me balance my pH faster and more effectively than just waiting for it to balance on its own. So I don't take boric acid suppositories right now, but I will start using them in the future. So the next question that I have is, explain in detail how you apply the Honeypot. So sorry. I thought that I made myself clear in the Honeypot video, but apparently I did not, because that is the one question that I get over and over and over again. And it makes me feel so guilty because I feel like I didn't explain myself well, but are looking to me to, you know, provide answers right away when they're in a lot of discomfort. So I'm very sorry if I didn't explain myself well enough. So here is how I apply the Honeypot foaming wash. I will take this, shake it up, put about 1 to 2 pumps in my hand, and then I take that and I spread it or apply it all over my V. The most common question that I have gotten is, do you stick the foaming wash inside? And let me address this really fast. When someone asks me this particular question, they always apologize. And they're like, I'm sorry, this is so gross, but do you? And I want you to stop apologizing for asking questions about your body. If you grew up with boomer parents, they really did not go into detail about sex education and vaginal health and things like that. There are no dumb or gross questions when it comes to our feminine hygiene, period. I mean, don't apologize for that. You deserve answers, and that's why I'm here to give them. So I do not put any on my finger and stick it inside. I don't do that. As far as I can see or I can tell, suds actually make their way inside. So I do pump it and I put it on the outer part, and then I put it inside the labia. So I do put it all over my labia, which is the inner and outer folds of your vulva. So I put it on the inside of the folds and on the outside. I do not stick anything inside my vagina, just on the labia. That's it, inside and out, but not inside my vagina. I hope that makes sense. So basically, I'm not putting any on my finger and sticking it inside. I just, no, don't do that. Just the inside and the outside. And the suds are definitely gonna make their way into the inside, so I applied it there anyway. I applied the foaming wash and I let it sit for as long as possible. So basically in the morning, the first thing I did was to use the bathroom and then apply this. I do apply it with my hands. I don't apply it with a towel. And the reason why I don't apply it with a towel is because it is foam, and I have found that the foam kind of disappears and it doesn't lather, and it just kind of soaks into your washcloth. So I do not use a towel when I'm applying the Honeypot foam. I let it sit there while I'm brushing my teeth, putting on deodorant and getting ready and things like that. It's the last thing that I do before I put on my clothes is I wash that off. I aim to keep it on between 5 to 10 minutes. When I take a shower, the first thing I do is I apply this, and then I do everything else, and this is the last thing that I rinse off. You know, just hang in there. It's not going to be overnight, but you will start to feel better, hopefully. And most of the people who have tried this have come back and said that it totally took their infections away, and I am very happy about that you were able to cure your infections just with this Honeypot. However, Honeypot did come out with a boric acid suppository as well. Even though the boric acid did not work for me, it works for a ton of other women. So I would definitely suggest trying boric acid and maybe this alongside it. I also just still use this for maintenance, the same thing. I do not use this in the mornings anymore, but for maintenance, I use this probably every other day. When I get into the shower, I put this on, I let it sit, and I do everything else. So yeah. All right, so I actually did get a question about if I've tried the Honeypot Vulva Cream. I forgot about that. Let me run and get it, and we'll talk about the Vulva Cream. Okay, so this is it. This is the Honeypot Soothing Lavender Vulva Cream. It has mint, coconut oil, and lavender, and it's plant-based feminine care. Okay, so this says start with a clean vagina and hands. Apply a dime size of the cream to the vulva, the external area of your vagina. So do not stick this inside. Do not put this on your finger and then stick it up. Don't do that. Just apply it around your vulva, the labia part, okay? I actually wish that I had this when I had my yeast infections, because I think this would have brought me so much relief. I use this now when I am experiencing vulva pain from ovulating, and right when I'm about to start my period, my vulva hurts a lot. It's just, I can't describe it if you've never had it, but sometimes we get vulva pain and it's just like a very tender, very sensitive, and it's just hormones. That's all it is. It is kind of grainy, but that's from the coconut oil. You know how coconut oil, before it kind of melts, it has that grainy quality to it. Well, you'll apply this and that's how it's going to feel. But once the coconut oil kind of melts from your body temp, it will be smooth and everything like that. And it definitely helps to soothe my V when I'm having hormonal related pain. I did not have this, but I did have Queen V, and I just really quickly, and I covered this in my Queen V video, but I want to reiterate here that while I was using Honeypot, I wanted the Honeypot video to be just about Honeypot, not anything else. I was using this Queen V Itch Don't Kill My Vibe. This is itch reducing essential oil spray, and it has tea tree and coconut. This actually helped me. It's a topical spray. It helps reduce itching. It totally does. This actually helped me get through those last 2 weeks when I was waiting for the Honeypot wash to do its magic. So I would use this, and I would recommend anyone who suffers from any kind of vaginal itching. You know, sometimes it's just random, sometimes it's just hormones. It doesn't mean that you have an infection. Sometimes it just happens. But definitely I would recommend using this alongside the Honeypot. If I was to do this all over again and I was suffering, I would use, to treat it, I would use the Honeypot and boric acid. I would use this mostly at night because it is a little, it's oily or whatever, and I would put this on. And then during the day, I would use this as needed, which is Itch Don't Kill My Vibe. Just spray it on, and it definitely helps to soothe and take away that itchiness that comes with a yeast infection, especially if it's like dry. So my yeast infection wasn't like, I didn't have a lot of discharge. It was like dry itching. So this definitely helped. Okay, and my next question is, do you still wear period panties? Absolutely. I do use period panties still, and I still have my Thinx. They have held up amazingly well. I wash them. Sometimes I forget, and I'll throw them in the dryer with some dryer sheets, which you're not supposed to do, but I do use unscented laundry soap now because of the issues I had with my yeast infection. That was one of the things that I kind of transitioned into, was not using anything really artificially scented on my body. So these are my Thinx underwear, and as you can see, they are just as good as when I bought them. They look brand new still. I have a huge ass, so I'm gonna try to put these in the shot. And there's no tearing, there is no pilling. I'm wearing period panties almost exclusively. I do wear Honeypot pads sometimes, and those are the only things that I use are the Honeypot pads. I don't use anything else. I just simply don't have enough period underwear to get me through my entire cycle. So yeah, I still wear these, but I do have to supplement still with pads. I am not just using the Thinx pads anymore, or the Thinx underwear anymore. Now I am using this period panty. These are the Anakin panties, and they're made just like, they work just as well as the Thinx. It has the kind of the thick padding right there in the crotch area, and it goes all the way up to the back. And I have heard that, so you can open this up in the back, and I think that you can put another pad in there for extra backup purposes, which I have never done that, but one day I will. But yeah, I really like that you can stick a pad back there if you need extra coverage. The reason why I love these Anigen underwear, and I think that I got this from some place called Eva Wear. I'm gonna leave all of the information in the description box below, but these cost me like $18, and then the Thinx cost me like almost $40. It cost me $38 for this one pair, where this was like $18. So definitely this is the better value. It works just as well as Thinx, just as well, and they've held up phenomenally. I've had these almost as long as I've had my Thinx. And yeah, they're actually, I find these to be a little bit more comfortable than the Thinx. So I typically gravitate towards these first, and then I use the Thinx later on in my cycle because I just find these to be a little bit more comfortable. Only thing is with these, you do need to size up. In regular underwear, I'm like a large. In Thinx, I got an XL and they fit perfectly. In these, they even recommend that you size up 1 or 2 sizes. So I got these in 2XL. So you definitely want to go up 1 or 2 sizes. You know, vanity aside, you want your underwear to fit snugly, but you don't want it to like cut into your thighs or whatever and, you know, cause discomfort. So I find that sizing up in both brands definitely helps, and I would never like buy these in a large. I wouldn't do it. Now these aren't period panties, but I call these ovulating panties because so I need extra coverage for that, and I do not know what these are called. There's no label on them. I don't know what size they are, but they are, I will link those below. I found these at CVS last summer when we first moved to San Diego, and they had these for 50% off in CVS. So I paid like, I think like $6 for these. And they just have some padding right here. They don't have the padding that goes all the way up in the back or anything. Just in the crotch area, it's reinforced for more coverage. Maybe your first day on your period when you're very light, or your last day on your period, if you're very light, you can use these. I typically use these for when I'm ovulating. Okay, so yeah, those are the period panties that I'm wearing, and I could not be more pleased with them. I do plan to buy more. I do plan to buy more of the Anigen because they are so affordable, but I am going to look at other brands first to see if I can review those for you guys. Okay, do you use period tracking apps? Yes, I do. Let me see. So here's my phone. I use the Clue. I have been using Clue for about 4 years now. I think about 4 years I've been using Clue. So right now this is telling me the red is when I start my period, and the blue is when I'm having my fertile window. So if I'm experiencing any kind of hormonal swings or issues like that, yeah, this tells you when you're, you know, fertile, when you get PMS, and then when you get your period. So I do like this one, but I have started using my Apple app, which I like even better. It's under the health app, cycle tracking. I just think that it's a lot more in-depth. It's free. Clue is free as well, but if you want special features, you do have to upgrade. But this is free and you don't have to upgrade. And this has things like my symptoms, my cervical mucus quality, if it's egg white, if it's watery, if it's creamy, if it's sticky, if it's dry. These things are important. These things are important to know and important to track. I want to take away the stigma. Yes, your mucus, especially when you're ovulating, can be very egg white-ish, okay? That's normal. And if you track your cycle, whether you're trying to get pregnant or not, if you track, you are having a better understanding of how your body works. You'll know when you start experiencing mood swings. You won't be surprised if you wake up and you do have that mucus quality all over your underwear because, hey, I started ovulating this morning. It's important to know those things so that you won't freak out. Really important because I do suffer from PMDD, and sometimes I forget that I suffer from PMDD, and this is here to remind me, like, if I'm not feeling myself, then I know to come and check this and see where I'm at in my cycle. Someone did ask me what kind of lube I used, if I use lube at all. I do use lube, and I use the Queen V PS I Lube You. And this is organic aloe-based lubricant. I don't just use this for sex. Sometimes I'm feeling dry, like it said in the app. Are you feeling dry? Sometimes I do feel dry, so I will use this just, you know, to moisturize down there. And it's organic aloe based. It's all natural, paraben free, glycerin free, and latex friendly. Organic aloe based lubricant formulated with all natural ingredients that protect, hydrate, and rejuvenate your queen bee. I love this stuff. I don't think that I'll use another lube ever. So this is the lube that I recommend. And I think that's it. That was the last question. So yeah, I hope that I answered all of your hygiene questions. If you have any more, just leave them in the comments below. I'm taking note of everything. I might do a follow-up video to this, but I'll definitely answer your questions in the comments or in my Instagram box or in my Twitter DMs. You know, you guys can always contact me. So I hope this video was helpful. It's long, but it's very informative, and I hope you got a lot of information that you can use moving forward. So I will catch you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video if you liked what I had to say, if you like the content, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, you guys.